Let's get into it, you guys. Welcome back to my journey series. I don't have an official intro yet. My name is Charlie. I went through a huge growth leap over the last year, 2025, and it was initiated by sales. My entire life changed. My relationship changed. Where I lived changed multiple times. The car I drive changed. The way my bank account looked changed. So I'm sharing all of the development I did that helped me accomplish that level of growth so that it might be able to help you too. Let me go ahead and do a quick recap for you. This is episode 2 of my journey series. In our previous episode, what happened? Quick bullet points. I was in a really bad state in my relationship, in my bank account, and in life. No job, no car, no intimacy. And my partner, who was the sole provider, came to me and let me know that he wanted to leave his job. There was a lot of back and forth, but I put my feelers out to go into sales and switch with him. The recruiter I was talking to let me know that I got an interview for a job that I didn't want. So let's pick it up from there. My partner comes to me and he lets me know that he hates his job. He hates his life. He wants to be an entrepreneur. He wants to build a business. And even though there's a lot going on in our relationship, not being intimate physically, we're not sleeping in the same bed, there was previous unfaithfulness on his side. The type of person that I am loyal to a fault, unfortunately, and we'll get more into that. But I'm a loving person, and I was raised very, very Christian, and you support your man no matter what, even if he's not really your man yet, because he ain't put a ring on it. So I didn't bite a bullet, I bit a grenade in my mind. And here's why it was a grenade for me. To me, going into sales meant that I was going to have to prove myself to every person, every lead I was getting on the phone with, that I was going to have to prove myself to be good enough for them to buy my product. That's kind of how it felt. It felt like I was on trial. And then also, sales is usually, especially in remote closing, it's commission only. I was going to have to prove that I could keep up and that I could put out and I could close. And I had little to no experience in sales. At least I didn't have enough experience in it to feel confident. I had already been working so hard on my development and on previous businesses. I had taken so much risk. There's no reason why in my process and in my life, I should have to, in my eyes, take a step back and start working for someone else again. It was a very, very, very hard pill to swallow. This move for me was also creating even more friction with my partner at the time because he already had years of remote closing experience. It made more logistical sense in my brain that he just got onto a different offer. He could keep on providing the income. I would build up the business. We could get established and build something that we could live off of. That is what would work in my brain. But he was so done. He was also going through a very, very strong midlife crisis, and he hated his life. He didn't want to live another day doing the same thing that he had already been doing. The choices were not ideal. Now, at this point in time, I am really, really, really doing my best to build up my patience muscle. Patience is huge. It's a very, very huge part of this entire process. So go back to either my first episode or to the video that I have on patience to understand how I am approaching patience and this point in time in my life. But even still, I had it wrong. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, yes, I want to stay moldable, and I am choosing to believe that all of this stuff is happening for me. It is happening in my favor. I don't know how yet, but I'm very excited to see how everything is happening for me. That is a very good example of patience. However, I did still have a very strong attachment to control. Because of course I'm afraid and I'm living in scarcity. I have zero money in my bank account. And so my main intention was to become the version of myself that lived in the reality where my partner and I didn't have to get jobs and we were able to live comfortably off of the business that we were building together. in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I can hack the universe. And I am going to provide as much value. I'm going to make myself very, very, very valuable in the business that we're building. And that value is going to attract money. The energy I'm putting into our business, I'm going to just put so much energy into our business and build systems and prepare it for a lot of flow of leads and flow of income, so that if you build the machine and if you build the structure, the universe is just going to pour flow into that system because it's ready, right? That's how you hack the universe. No, just because you build something doesn't mean the universe is going to put energy toward that. That's not how that works. Another side reason why I was putting so much energy into our business was because I had built it up so much. It was my baby. I knew all of the systems, and I'm getting ready to hand this off to my partner, who is really struggling with analysis paralysis. He doesn't do well with detailed things, like detail-oriented things. He's not very good with systems. He is a really good face of a company. He's a good creator. He's not good with systems at all. And I know this. And so I'm also doing this so that I can prepare my business for my transition into working, where all the systems are already running. He doesn't have to worry about it at all. Ultimately, though, my hidden agenda was to force an outcome on the universe, and the universe gave no fucks. Universe was like, that's a cool little thing you're building over there. I'm not going over there, though. I didn't know that at the time yet. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So I'm actively working on setting up all the systems for my business. And I am now going into my first ever remote closing interview. I went into this interview on December 5th. It was an interview between me and a woman from the team. I'm pretty sure she was in operations. I was talking about my previous experience in sales, which primarily was selling my own offer and teaching sales. And typically that's pretty good for a smaller offer. They were, their closers were closing at $2,000 a month, which is actually quite low. It was a baby offer, but I didn't have a lot of experience. So I'm not like beggars can't be choosers. That really was what this was for me. Because of the fact that their closer closed at $2,000 last month, remember, remote closing is 1099. Meaning taxes are not taken out automatically for you. You put aside all of your monies on your own. You have to organize your funds. Anyway, I'll get to why that was exhausting for me. But basically, I was not going to be making very much money. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, this interview goes well. I do very well in interviews. I actually used to work for a police department in California, and they have panel interviews, and you're hooked up also to there's a process for the background check and lie detector test. So I'm very good with interviews. They're not hard at all. So of course I killed that interview. But in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I am definitely going to keep on looking for other offers in the meantime and keep on talking to my recruiter, because there's no way that I can only make $2,000 a month between my own financial needs and the needs of my partner. It was not going to keep us afloat. So the first interview killed it. And then I have a second interview. The second interview was to do kind of like a mock sales call so that they can see my sales skills in practice, which there were none. They were just seeing me in practice. I don't recommend doing that. The only reason why I did it was because I am fully willing to go balls to the wall in life. Like, I go full force, I commit at 100%, and I give 100% effort that entire time too. And so with me, I'm relentless. I am willing to think on my feet and take really hard blows to the face at the same time. So if you don't think you can do that, I don't recommend applying for a job you don't have experience for. It's quite stressful. So I go to this second interview, and I'm expecting the manager of operations or the director of operations, whoever she was, to be there. I get into the interview and there's a second woman there. And she didn't really introduce herself to me either. Her camera was on to begin with, but she was like, yeah, I'm the sales manager. And she's like, I'm just going to watch how your mock goes and my camera's going to be off. No worries at all. I'm like, okay, personally, I think that's a bit rude. I don't even know who you are. You and I have no connection at all. I was not even told that you were going to be here. And now you're watching me and I can't see you. I don't like that. Of course, I'm doing the mock with the manager of operations and it actually goes quite well. And the director of sales comes back on at the end of the mock and she said that she could tell I have experience. The director starts going into detail on what their expectations are for the new closer that they're bringing in, the new remote closer salesperson. And of course, they're asking for the world. They want you to 100% fully commit to their mission and their vision and make yourself available to them at all times. And I did not say this during the interview, of course. I kept, my face on. But remember, I had 100% freedom over my time and my choices. And I was dedicating all of my time and my energy into something for myself and something that I wanted to grow and an offer that I wanted to convert on. It was very hard for me to see myself dedicating my life to this company's mission and vision. Plus, I did not get good vibes from the director. She really seemed very unorganized and disheveled, but she had a lot of authority, and I could tell she was just moving with a lot of frame and confidence. And so I kind of was like, maybe I'm making a hasty judgment. I wasn't, but we'll get to that. But they told me that they would let me know on the coming Monday or Tuesday as far as what they were going to decide, as far as who they're hiring. But as soon as I got off of that call, the Zoom call, I went to my partner and I told him I couldn't do it. I was so overwhelmed with anxiety, and everything in me at the time was telling me that this wasn't a good fit for me. And I couldn't really figure out why, but my intuition was screaming, and it was very confusing because I'm like, this is something I can do. It's literally, the math is mathing, A plus B equals C in this scenario, but there was something that wasn't in that equation that was wrong. I couldn't actually see what was wrong, but I could very much feel it. But at the same time, I was wondering if that was just simply my pride and my ego not wanting to now work for somebody else. And I didn't want to make a choice out of pride because I had just spent a lot of time getting out of that and shedding my pride and shedding ego and learning to be more moldable and flexible and receptive. And this is the beginning of my identity crisis. I literally had no idea who I was anymore. This was causing such chaos in my brain that I didn't know what the right choice was. I didn't know now who I was and what it meant to be me and what it meant to make choices as me. There were so many things that were falling apart in my identity. Now it felt to me like I was transitioning to this place of going behind the scenes, being the woman behind the successful man, the salesperson on someone else's offer. I felt like I had no purpose, and I was actually negative in purpose in life. And it was so hard for me this time that I literally wrote that I would not recommend my journey to anyone, because it was so painful and it was so chaotic and it was very intense. But that ended up not being the truth. In that point in time, I wouldn't have recommended this journey to anyone, and now I'm recommending it to everyone, and you'll see why. So even though I had that conversation with my partner that I couldn't do it, and it's causing all this chaos in my brain, I did decide that if they chose to hire me, that I would go forward with the offer. Because what I saw was an opportunity for me to get reps in not being prideful and not making choices out of ego. Plus, I was going to get an opportunity to see the inner workings of someone else's offer that was successful. And I wanted to use that information to build up my own offer in a better way and learn from their mistakes. At the same time, I learned that I got an interview with another offer. It was a offer where it was like a membership offer for people who were CEOs to come into this membership and do networking with other CEOs across the nation. That interested me more because it was going to give me an opportunity to talk with other entrepreneurs and learn from them. And I felt like that was more aligned with my identity than a fitness offer, especially a vegan fitness offer, because I am very much not vegan. And I don't struggle with fitness. And it is very important to find an offer that you can connect with, because then you can connect more easily with the leads that are coming in to buy that offer. So it leads to a higher close rate. Now at this point, I had my second interview with that vegan offer. I have another interview coming up for the membership offer. And at the same time, I'm still working on the business that I'm trying to get off the ground with my partner. We ended up talking with a coach who helps people build their offers. He had been talking with my partner for a while, and my partner knew of him and had followed him on Facebook and Instagram and things and knew of his success. And so this guy seemed super genuine. And so we got on a call, and we were talking with one of his salespeople who was telling us about the offer and telling us what they could potentially do with our offer. And it sounded really good. Of course it did, right? Mentorship and coaching is so valuable, especially when you're first getting started and you don't naturally have a circle of people who are highly informed and very skilled in the area you're wanting to build a business in. And the offer, the coaching, was going to cost us a lot of money that we did not have. They were kind enough to offer to give us a payment plan. And that payment plan was going to be $1,750 a month. Now, mind you, even though my partner and I could see us effectively building our business with the coaching of this person, we are broke. I have negative dollars in my bank account. My partner, his bank account is going down and down because he doesn't want to do sales anymore, so he's not converting very well. And we had already paid somebody $1,000 to build avatars for us, and he hadn't even chosen one yet. The majority of the things that were going wrong for us were stemming from him because he was stuck. And now we're thinking about investing almost $2,000 a month into a coach to help us with this business. Now, the reason why I wanted to do it was because I'm like, maybe this is kind of like a parent-child situation, which that's never a good reference for your relationship. But anyway, maybe it's that parent-child situation where children don't listen to their parents, even though their parents are right, and the parents know the child very well. All you gotta do is get the child in front of someone else, and the child will listen to the exact same piece of advice. That's what I was thinking was going to happen with my partner, where he just needed another man in his life who was accomplished and knew what he was talking about to tell him what to do, and then that would get my man to start going. And I really believed in my man. I believed in our mission and our vision, and I believed in myself. And now there's this coach coming around, and I believe in him too. And so to me, that's a recipe for taking massive action and massive risk. So I'm like, yes, let's do it. We put down $1,750 into this coach's training. And this is also happening in the middle of December. So needless to say, we were not doing gifts that year. We were not doing anything that year. And we decided not to do anything for our anniversary either. It was our 2-year anniversary. And yeah, we were not going to do anything. Like, we live out here in Vegas. Usually we would there's so much to do, especially during Christmas. And then our anniversary was on New Year's Eve. And so of course there's a lot to do on New Year's, but we were like, nah, we're not doing anything. That was our gift to ourselves for Christmas and our gift to ourselves for our anniversary. So this investment is a big deal, and I'm taking it very seriously, and I'm fully expecting my partner to be able to finally start taking action in making this move. We will find out later that that was a huge assumption that I made, and that was an expectation of mine. I'll just leave it at that. At this point, for me, mentally, so much is changing, and I feel like I'm disappearing. This felt like a downward spiral for me in life. And I felt like I had already started to navigate an unknown. And I was in this process where I didn't know what the point of the process was or how to move through it. All I knew was that I was in it. And now I just went a layer even further into a very deep and dark unknown within myself. Literally, my journal entry from December 14th of 2024 says, how could I have worked so hard for years just to end up applying for jobs again and having to work for people who expected me to live and breathe their mission and their vision? It felt insulting. I just didn't understand why I couldn't have a say as to which direction my life would go after I had been so committed to my own vision and growth. This journey has taken more out of me and broken me in the deepest of ways. And then when it was done, it rested and then came back to do the same thing again and again and again. I don't even know who I am anymore or what it means to be me. I don't know what my purpose in life is or how to walk in that purpose. I'm just the girl behind the successful man, the girl on someone else's sales team. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend this journey to anyone. Probably because it's not even worth it to me yet. And I don't know if it ever will be. So as of right now, I'm just an idiot that's too stubborn to quit. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful that I was too stubborn to quit. Because even though I would not have recommended that journey to anyone at that time, looking back, 100% I do. And that's the reason why I'm telling this story of this in this journey series. So in the next episode, we're going to find out if I got the job for that vegan fitness offer and what happens in the interview with that CEO membership offer. And then also the reality of what happens with my assumptions about my partner finally taking action after we have spent even more money that we don't have on a business that isn't working. See you next time.